Hey there, friends and movie fans. Jacob here. Been a couple weeks since my last video. I've been watching a lot of movies, just haven't really had the time or energy to be filming reviews. But awards season is about to be kicking off properly. We've seen some critics groups. We've had the National Board of Review and the AFI Top 10 and a few other bodies. So we're sort of starting to gather what the front runners are, but there's still a lot of uncertainty, and the Globes are hopefully going to be the first step towards a bit of certainty in terms of predictions. But we're still kind of going in blind to these ones because we can't even really look at the history of the Globes because they've changed a lot in the last 2 years. We can't even really look at last year's. That ceremony wasn't televised. They had made some changes, but this year they've made even more changes. They've got a ton of new members, a ton of internationally based members. So while we know some things about the Globes, we know they like big celebrities, they like more populist films, but I think last year's nominations were a trend in maybe a slightly more indie direction. And with these new international voters, who knows what's going to happen? So these predictions, they're kind of a mixture of what we know, a mixture of trying to predict what these new voters are going to think. And I've sort of like got a few favorites in each category. And then those last spots, I'm sort of trying to think of some maybe out of the box ones. I don't know. But anyway, I've waffled on for long enough. So let me continue waffling on with my Golden Globe predictions. Just for film, not TV. I do not know enough about TV. For Best Picture Drama, not too dissimilar from my Oscars top 5, aside from maybe that number 5 pick there. But I've still got The Fabelmans at number 1. It's still been number 1 in Best Picture in my Oscar predictions this whole time, and I don't see why the Globes wouldn't go for it. I'm not saying it's a certainty to win, because I'm really starting to think that Top Gun Maverick could win. People love the film. It just keeps climbing and climbing. It won Best Picture at the National Board of Review. It's getting in everywhere, and it really, really could win here. I'm not saying that means it's going to win the Oscar, but I think it's highly likely to be amongst those top 3 or 4 films. Tar, I know some people think the Globes might not go for this, but again, with these new voters, why wouldn't they go for it? And maybe it misses a couple of key categories, but I don't see it missing picture here. It's one of the stronger contenders. Women Talking, again, I'm not seeing as much passion for it as I would like, but it's been getting in at most critics groups, if not dominating or sweeping, so I think it is in here. And for the 5th spot, I've gone with Elvis. You know, I've been predicting it in Best Picture at the Oscars since October. I kind of fell off on it, but now it's coming back up. It got in the AFI Top 10. People are loving it. And it's sort of between that and Avatar and The Woman King for that 5th spot. But the reason I've got Elvis in there is that just above Avatar is that Avatar's getting rave reviews. But there's been sort of rumblings that maybe not all of the Globes voters were able to see Avatar in time. Like they weren't given screeners or screening invites. I know one voter tweeted that they still hadn't received an Avatar screener like 24 hours before the voting closed. So I am starting to think this is going to get in Best Picture at the Oscars, but it might just miss out here based on not enough people having seen it. But I could be wrong. It could easily take that 5th spot. Then The Woman King is building. It's one of the only films that got in both at the National Board of Review and the AFI Top 10. I know those don't hold a ton of weight, but maybe the film is a little stronger than we thought a month or two ago. She Said it's still around the mark. You know, it's getting in some places, not others. I think it's going to be one of those like 8 to 12 contenders the whole way. The Whale I'm losing faith in. A24 really are not putting any effort into pushing it. Critics don't like it. Globes don't tend to follow critics, but again, with this new lineup, they might not really go for it. And I'm not really predicting it to get many nominations here at all. 10th, I've got After Sun. Got in National Board of Review, which was pretty unexpected. So it's on the radar. It is a very small movie, and I don't really see it going all the way, but it is on the radar, which is kind of enough to have it here. And then Till, finally, there's a chance. They like their civil rights sort of stuff, and, you know, most people who've seen it quite like it. Best Actress in a Drama. I feel like the top 4 here are pretty cut and dry. Cate Blanchett, Tar, probably going to win the Oscar. Michelle Williams, The Fabelmans. I think The Fabelmans is a big player here, and I think she's pretty much a lock. Ditto for Danielle Deadwyler for Till. I know not everyone has seen this yet, but I have friends who've seen it, and pretty much everyone I know who's seen this says she should win. So if it does pick up the steam it needs, she could win. Who knows? Viola Davis for The Woman King. The Woman King's looking stronger than ever, and she's been my perpetual 6th spot this whole race. And with the splitting between drama and comedy, I think she is pretty easily going to get in here. And then the fifth spot is a toss-up between a few people. And I'm going with Jessica Chastain for The Good Nurse based on the fact that the Golden Globes love Jessica Chastain. She's been nominated there for acting 7 times. 6 times for film, once for TV, I believe for Scenes from a Marriage. But they love her. She gets in for stuff that no one really expects her to get in for, and she doesn't get in anywhere else, stuff like Miss Sloane. So I'm not saying it's likely, but I'm saying people do like the film, and she's really good in it. Like, I genuinely think she's fantastic in it. You could argue Olivia Colman because she gets in everywhere as well, but just no one's talking about Empire of Light. I still haven't seen it because it's not out here, but yeah, beyond that, I don't know. Anna de Armas for Blonde would be kind of fun, and it does kind of feel like a Globes thing, but maybe not these new age Globes. Jennifer Lawrence Causeway, I think the film is probably just going to be too small. And then ninth, I have Naomi Aki, I Want to Dance with Somebody. Normally, I would probably have had her 5th, but I did hear that this film was also having screening issues with getting it out to voters in time, and I really haven't really heard of a lot of people having seen it yet anyway. They didn't nominate Jennifer Hudson for Respect last year, so maybe the Globes are finally trending away from these cliche music biopics. So, yeah, Jessica Chastain in there softly, but it could be Olivia Colman, or, you know, someone else could pop up. Who knows? I'm kind of hoping we get a bit of chaos here. For Best Actor in a Drama, yeah, first time I've ever not had Brendan Fraser at number 1, and I have him second for a couple of reasons. First, I don't think what happens here will affect the outcome of the Oscars. I think what's going to happen there is going to happen regardless of what the Globes do. But one, I think the Globes are going to be higher on Elvis than most other voting bodies, and henceforth I think Austin Butler could win. And I think he's the most likely to be in there, especially with Colin Farrell in comedy not giving him competition. And I do still think Brendan Fraser will be nominated. But again, I don't think The Whale has peaked yet. It hasn't come out yet. It comes out pretty soon. So maybe it shoots back up a little then. But at the moment, it's not really in the forefront of anybody's mind. So I don't know if Globes voters are really going to be thinking about it. I do still think he gets in. But maybe he doesn't win, especially because he said that he will not be attending the ceremony because he was sexually harassed by the former Globes president. So, yeah, Austin Butler is my number 1 right now, but we'll see what happens. Bill Nye Living, Tom Cruise, Top Gun Maverick, I've got them pretty neck and neck. Like, we haven't really seen any bodies nominate Nye yet, but I also just don't really... I just feel like it's going to happen. It's just a vibe, and... You know, if he doesn't get in here, maybe we reevaluate, but I just think this is such a weak field that who else? Seriously, who else? And that who else I have here is Gabriel LaBelle for The Fabelmans. Now, I think a lot of people probably have Hugh Jackman in here. He's definitely in there on Gold Derby. But I just, same with sort of Colin for Empire of Light. I just don't think people care about The Sun. A lot of people I know who've seen it hate it. I know most people say Jackman's quite good in it, but... is that really going to be a lone nomination for it when you could honor someone from a really big contender who's probably not going to be honored at the Oscars in Gabriel LaBelle? A lot of my American friends, some are critics who have seen it, we were talking about our favorites, and just about all of them had Gabriel LaBelle in their top 5. Now, I know that's not like an indication of what the Globes are going to do, but I just think there are people who really love his performance, and I know he might not get in at the Oscars because they don't tend to go for younger performers in the lead actor category. But I think with the weaker field taking out of a couple other contenders, and with me really losing confidence in Hugh Jackman, I do think Gabriel LaBelle could pull off that surprise nomination here. And I haven't seen the film yet. I'm actually seeing it on Tuesday. I've got tickets. I'm very, very excited. But I think it would be a really cool nomination. 6, Hugh Jackman, easily could still happen. 7, Jeremy Pope, The Inspection. The Globes do like to sort of pull someone from down the list every now and then. And I pride myself on getting those right. Like I remember correctly getting Jonah Hill from War Dogs and a couple others. I don't have any that level of out there picks, but yeah, Jeremy Pope is one that it wouldn't shock me to see his name read out tomorrow. Paul Mescal for Aftersun. He's my boy. He's my favorite lead male of the year, but probably just not quite gonna get in anywhere. Will Smith, Emancipation. People have seen the film. People don't really like the film, but they're all saying he's very strong in it. But with the Globes in avoiding controversy mode, they're probably going to steer clear of this one. And then Song Kang-ho, Broker. I don't know. I just threw this in randomly because people love Song Kang-ho. I have no data to back that up. Best Picture, Comedy Musical, another one where I'm pretty confident in the top 3 or 4, and then it's like, I don't know. But Everything Everywhere All at Once, I'm pretty confident winning Picture. I still think it can win the Oscar for Best Picture. I think people are underrating it. It's getting in everywhere it needs to so far. It's winning a few Best Picture awards. It's not winning all of them, but I think it's doing enough. And the Banshees of Inisherin right on its heels and could very easily win, and I do think it's going to win Screenplay, which I will get to a little later. But those two are locked. Glass Onion should be locked. I know I have it lower than Babylon in terms of Oscar predictions, but I just think the Globes went for the first one in acting and picture. Why wouldn't they go for this one? It's one of the best actual straight-out comedies of the year. It's an extremely funny film, and I think we're going to see it read out. And then Babylon's a tough one because it's not doing great. It's not really getting in anywhere. I know people who rave about it and say it's one of their favorite films of the year. So I do still tentatively have it getting in here, but I won't be shocked if it misses, and I'm not expecting many other nominations for it here outside of acting and picture. But with a lack of other serious contenders, I'm going to keep it in there for now. And then fifth, I have RRR because as of this year, there is a new rule that international films can be included in the Best Picture categories of the Globes, which is finally, like seriously, why wasn't this implemented much earlier? But I was peaking at the right time. It won New York Film Critics Best Picture Award. It got in National Board of Review, I believe, and they never nominate foreign films. They didn't even nominate Parasite. So I don't know. I'm just feeling RRR, and a lot of my predictions might hinge on RRR doing well because I have it in a few categories. But I think people are remembering the film. It's sticking in people's minds. It's such a fun film. And I think it could happen. The Menu easily could happen as well. I really like the film. It hasn't really stuck in the consciousness as much as it might have needed to, but everyone I know who's seen it really enjoyed it, myself included. I've seen it twice now. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Weirdly, I know I had it in my Best Picture 10 last month, but it's probably not going to be in there next time I do Oscar predictions. And I don't know. I'm not feeling it for this one. I feel like they're going to favor actual comedies, and Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio really is it's a soft musical. There are songs, but most of them kind of feel pretty half-hearted, and they're not super frequent, so that's why I have it out at the moment. There are a lot here, so I'll get through them quick. Triangle of Sadness could happen. It's ebbing and flowing in people's consciousness. I really still don't know where to place it in terms of award season. Bros would be great. It's a great straight-up comedy, but it just flopped. It flopped. No one saw it, so it's probably not going to happen. Good luck to you, Leo Grand. Now, normally I would say this, it would be a Globes lock, but it came out so early that I don't know if people are going to remember it. Matilda the Musical, I haven't seen it. I haven't read much about it, but it's a musical. Ticket to Paradise, a lot of people think this is going to get in a few categories. I don't know. I mean, the Globes don't often go for the super broad studio comedies and rom-coms, and it has okay reviews. It doesn't have bad reviews, but I don't know if it's really gonna get in there. 13, I have White Noise, which probably won't happen. I love the film. I actually just saw it for the second time today. It's one of my favorite films of the year, but I think I'm going to be alone on that, and I don't think we're going to be seeing it read out here. And Catherine Called Birdie, just because it kept getting random nominations at the Gothams and the Indie Spirit Awards. So I don't know. You never know. Comedy musical actress Michelle Yeoh should be winning this, no question. So we're not really going to get any clarity on the Oscar race between her and Blanchett, but it's just going to be great to see her take home this award. Margot Robbie, Babylon. This really hinges on the film. If it doesn't get into Best Picture and doesn't really get in anywhere else, maybe she misses. But I do think this category is really weak outside of this top 3, so I feel like she's going to get in. Emma Thompson, good luck to you, Leo Grand. She's such a respected actress. It's a very brave performance, and even if the film misses, I think this category is shallow enough that she can get in. And then you can probably throw a dart at 4 through 7, but 4th I've got Leslie Manville for Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. She's only been nominated for a Globe once, but if they see the movie, why wouldn't you nominate her? She is an absolute delight in it. She has tasted awards. She got nominated for an Oscar for Phantom Thread a few years ago. So I think if they see it, how can they not vote for her? And I do have it as a low-key, sneaky option for a few Oscar categories. So I think people in the know are going to be seeing the film, and I think she's enough of a name to throw in there. And then 5th, I've got Anya Taylor-Joy for The Menu. She's on a hot streak right now. She's been Golden Globe nominated for TV before. Uh, maybe a harder sell if I don't have the menu in Best Picture, but she's really great in it. She's front and center, and I can see this one happening. I can also see Julia Roberts happening for Ticket to Paradise because she's been nominated for an unholy amount of Golden Globes, but I'm just basing this around I don't have faith in the movie, so I'm not going to have much faith in her performance. And everyone else said they're just making up the numbers. I really think this category is shallow. Regina Hall, Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. Apparently she's great in it, but did anyone see the movie? I didn't. I probably will. But Dakota Johnson, Cha Cha Real Smooth. Unfortunately, you Sundance darlings, this is not going to be the coda of this year, and I think this one is a long shot. Chelby Dean for Triangle of Sadness is the last one here. She's very good in it. She's maybe not quite the lead. It's a very ensemble-y movie. It would be a nice way to recognize her posthumously, but probably not. Best Comedy Musical Actor, probably the biggest lock of the night. Colin Farrell is absolutely going to shit this in, and he's winning so many critics awards that he's almost putting that little seed of doubt in my mind about Brendan Fraser winning the Oscar, and I think Colin Farrell might actually give him a run for his money because he has won everything. Everything. I think he's stronger than Austin Butler even. So, yeah, look out for Colin Farrell, and he'll be winning this easily. Daniel Craig, Glass Onion, got nominated for the first one, will be nominated for this one. He's even more fun in this film. 3, I still have Diego Calva, Babylon. Starting to lose faith that he's going to get the Oscar nomination, but if the film is going to get that Best Picture nomination, like I think it is, he has to be in. And then here I could throw a blanket, lots of blankets in this video. I could throw a blanket from like 4th to 10th because I think a lot of these people are on par and I really don't know what's going to happen. I've got Adam Sandler for Hustle in at 4th. They've been getting a lot stricter with their category designations, but this one slipped through the cracks because it is being designated as a comedy. I really don't think the film is a comedy. It has funny moments, but it's really an inspirational sports drama. That being said, I'd have no problems with The Sandman getting nominated because he's fantastic in it. And I just think he's having a moment right now. He got that Lifetime Achievement Award at the Gothams. He's touring right now. Everybody loves him. People, like, he's finally getting professional respect. And I think he's a name that they can put in there. 5th, I don't know. Let's go with Tom Hanks from A Man Called Otto because early reactions to the film are good. People say he's really good in it. And he is kind of like the Globesy type pick, but could easily be Ralph Fiennes for The Menu. They nominated him for the Grand Budapest Hotel. He is front and center in The Menu. He's fantastic in it. He's very funny. He's very menacing. Adam Driver for White Noise. I don't have faith in the film, but I do think that he's a very beloved and respected actor, and he's fantastic in it. So it wouldn't be like a huge shock if he was a lone nominee for it. Billy Eichner for Bros. In a perfect world, he'd be getting in. It's his movie, but it flopped, and he might just get cast off into the void along with it. Daniel Radcliffe for Weird, the Al Yankovic story. Easily could happen too. Are people going to take the film seriously? I don't know. But I think this is the only nomination it can really get. George Clooney for Ticket to Paradise. I think he's less likely than Julia Roberts, and I think this category has a bit more heat in it than the actress one. And lastly, I have Daryl McCormick for Good Luck to you, Leo Grande. He's very good. Maybe if the film is a shock Best Picture nominee, it could happen, but probably not. Director, this is a tricky one here because I'm not really expecting them to line up perfectly with the Oscars. And let's just get it off the bat. I think I might be the only person who's not predicting James Cameron here. So, hear me out, please, but you don't have to listen to me if you are using this video to help with your own predictions. Number 1, Spielberg. I still don't think there's a reason to not have him at number 1. Daniels, people are sleeping on him. Some people don't think he's getting nominated, but like them. They've gotten in at a lot of precursors, like critics' precursors that don't really matter. They're not winning everything, but they've won a few. And I think the movie is a top 2 Best Picture movie. Why wouldn't they get in for director? I've said this in every single video. I'm just kind of baffled by the fact that people are predicting the film for all these nominations, but then like not director, or they're having them super low in director. And I just think it's ridiculous. People know who they are. People are taking them seriously, and it's gonna happen. Sarah Polley for Women Talking. Pretty confident in this. The Golden Globes nominate a lot of women, and I do think the film is going to be a strong contender here, and I think she is well in there. Martin McDonagh, I equally think Banshees is a top 2 contender in its Best Picture category, so I think he's going to go along for the ride. And the 5th spot, who knows? Who knows? I've gone with Baz Luhrmann for Elvis, and this is me definitely receding into, the old Golden Globes. This is what the Globes of old would do. But I think the film's peaking at the right time. It has a lot of directing in it. People really like it. And the reason I have him above James Cameron and also Todd Field is again, that screener issue with Avatar. Maybe not a lot of them have seen it. I do actually think Cameron will probably get in at the Oscars. I don't think Lerman will, but I think just based on the timing of it, I kind of have Lerman in there above those guys right now. And then Todd Field, just getting the vibe that he's not getting in at the Globes. He might still get in at the Oscars, but maybe Tar is a movie that the Globes don't go for as hard. I was just chatting to a friend of mine about this, and it's really, there's no data to back this up. It's kind of a gut feeling, and we'll see if we're proven right or wrong. And S.S. Rajamouli, that same friend is actually predicting him. I don't have the balls to do that, but God, that would be awesome. It doesn't actually feel like it's so out of the cards. And ditto for Joseph Kosinski for Top Gun Maverick. Just based on how much people love the film, he could get in, even though I think most people understand that Tom Cruise is the true driving force behind that film. Giselle for Babylon, I've really lost faith in for Best Director. We'll see if that faith comes back up as award season goes on, but I don't know. Gina Prince Bythewood, The Woman King, again, could happen. The film's stronger. They do like female directors, and Charlotte Wells for After Sun. That's probably just for me because she's like amazing. And if they did somehow go for After Sun in picture, this would have to go along with it. But yeah, we're making up the numbers at that point. Supporting actress, that's been one of the hardest categories so far and still is. Let's get into it. I've put Kerry Condon at number 1, not because I think she's going to win, but because I don't know how to separate the women talking women, and I'm hoping that the Globes here give us some more clarity on it. Some people think Foy is getting it all. Some people think Buckley is getting it all, and I think maybe if they both get in, they won't win, but if only one of them gets in, that one could win. I got no idea. Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm still not 100% sold on this for the Oscar, but it feels like she's peaking right now, and I feel like this is going to happen. She's actually, I think, won some supporting awards from critics and stuff, which, again, is baffling to me because Stephanie Sue is the far better performance in that film. But Jamie Lee Curtis is real, and we should be predicting her. And then 5th, another one I don't really see getting the Oscar nomination, but that's Janelle Monáe for Glass Onion. She's actually won a few critics awards over all these big contenders, so people really like her performance. And since I think the Globes are going to be one of the bodies that like Glass Onion the most, why wouldn't Janelle Monáe get in here? Carey Mulligan, she said, is still kind of an unknown for this and the Oscars. Hong Chau the Whale, I do still think probably gets in at the Oscars, but again, I think this is bad timing for the Whale, and I don't think it's going to get much here. Stephanie Sue from Everything Everywhere, even their campaign, they're not really prioritizing her, so the voters would just have to individually really collectively like her performance, and I don't know if it's quite there. Kiki Palmer for Nope, she's been designated as supporting. I think she won New York Critics Supporting Actress, if not them, somewhere else, so she's got to be on the list. Nina Hoss is another one I still think kind of could get the Oscar nomination, but since I'm predicting an underperformance from Tar, I really don't think she gets in here. Angela Bassett for Black Panther, long shot. Dolly DeLeon, Triangle of Sadness, definitely still on the radar, but probably this isn't the place. Supporting actor, I fucking hate this category so much this year. The top 3 set, Ke Huy Quan, he's sweeping everything. He's giving great speeches. He's Troy Kotsur. He's Yo Jong Yoon. He's going to win the Oscar. He's going to win the Golden Globe. Brendan Gleeson nipping at his heels. Ben Whishaw will be in there. Eddie Redmayne for The Good Nurse. Look, I think in my last predictions video, I said he screams lone Golden Globe or lone SAG nom. So I'm going to try and hit that lone nom prediction. If he doesn't hit here, watch me probably predict him again for the SAGs. Not expecting him to get an Oscar nomination, but I think that this could be something the Globes do, especially considering I think they're going to nominate Chastain. Why wouldn't he go along with it? His performance could be even argued as being even better than hers. For the Feldmans, I don't know. I've been predicting Judd Hirsch for the Oscars this whole time, and I probably still am. So my reason for having Dano in here is that everyone thinks he is. Everyone I've talked to, everyone I've listened to, all my research I've done, Gold Derby has Paul Dano in there. I don't know why everyone thinks Paul Dano is getting in over Hirsch at the Globes, but I do know that the Oscars do have that bias towards old people that maybe the Globes don't. So it could be either of them, and it could be safer to pick both of them, but I'm gunning to get that Eddie Redmayne nomination right. So, follow my prediction here at your own risk. Judd Hirsch 6th, of course. Barry Keoghan, which I've apparently been mispronouncing as Keegan all these years. For Banshees, I do still think he might get the Oscar nomination because Eddie Redmayne won't. I just don't know if it's going to happen here. Brad Pitt for Babylon almost feels dead in the water at this stage. Tom Hanks for Elvis, you won't see him on any other of my other lists, but that would be a real old school Globes thing to do. Mark Rylance starting to look like Bones and All's only shot at any kind of nomination anywhere, and Brian Tyree Henry for Causeway just clinging on at the end. Best screenplay, I'm unbelievably confident in this 5, and being that it's only one category, it can maybe give us a little bit of clarity on what the front runners in each category are, but I think the only adapted film that's getting in here is Women Talking. And I think Banshees will win this because even at bodies so far where Everything Everywhere is winning picture, Banshees is taking screenplay. So who knows? Could that be the split we see on Oscar night with maybe even Fabelman's winning director as a three-way split? That'd be kind of fun. Yeah, Women Talking, very, very confident in this being in. It's going to be the best adapted screenplay of the year. Tar, again, I low-key think could win something. Maybe not the big ones, but maybe a couple small ones. And The Fabelmans just goes along for the ride. Glass Onion, Knives Out didn't get in, so I don't think this is quite going to get in, but it's pretty close if they decide that, we don't need to put Fabelmans in screenplay. Triangle of Sadness, if it gets one other nomination, maybe. It is a very screenplay-driven movie, so it's not out of the question. Babylon, losing faith in, and if it's getting anything, it's directing and technicals and stuff, not screenplay. She Said it's very wordy, but I don't see it getting screenplay with no other nominations. And The Whale, again, not going to happen at the Globes. Animated feature, that 5th spot's giving me a real hard time. I'm maybe going out on a limb here, but anyway, let's Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I still think it's strong. I still think it's winning, even though I don't think it may be that best picture contender that we thought it was a month ago. Turning Red in there, it's Pixar. It's their best film this year. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. I don't personally really see it as an animated film, but I do think it's the best film here, so I guess I'm cool with it being nominated, and I think it will be, considering it is eligible. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I saw the trailer for this the other week, and it looks really cool. I'm actually pretty excited to see it, and the reviews are very, very, very good. And 5th, I have Wendell and Wild. Why? I don't really know. I know that the Globes like stop motion. Some people have The Bad Guys. Some people have Strange World, My Father's Dragon. I'm just picking Wendell and Wild because it's unique. I think Henry Selick, him making a film, it's a bit of an event if you are a fan of stop motion. So that's my pick. The Bad Guys could easily get in. They do like DreamWorks. Strange World, people just don't like it. And My Father's Dragon, while I do kind of still think this could get in at the Oscars because they love Cartoon Saloon, the Globes don't go as hard on them, and they do tend to go for the more mainstream fare here. So yeah, make of those what you will. Best score. This category just hasn't felt right to me all year. I haven't known what to make of it. I don't even know what my favorites are, really, besides The Batman is the best score of the year, and people are underrating it. But not a ton of scores this year have really stuck out to me, aside from a few. But Women Talking, I have number 1 because it's Hilda Guanadotti and she's great. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, I think will be in. It's to splat. Babylon, a lot of people have winning. And I know Justin Hurwitz is a beast and his work is amazing. And I know the Globes do tend to go for him more than the Oscars. I think they went for him for First Man where the Oscars didn't. So I do think they'll nominate him, but I'm not quite so confident in it winning just yet. The Fabelmans is John Williams, supposedly his final score. How can you go past that? I know people have said it's a little underwhelming, but, maybe Banshees replaces it. I'm not sure. I think the Globes will be cool enough to do the Batman, even if the Oscars don't. But again, Banshees could easily get in. The Woman King, I think, might get in at the Oscars because they really like Terrence Blanchard. His score was the only nomination the Five Bloods got there, but I don't know if it quite makes the cut here at the Globes. With how hard I'm going on it here, it could happen. She Said's a great score, but again, why would it get a lone score nomination? Empire of Lights, Reznor and Ross has to be in there. Top Gun Maverick, Avatar, screener issue, plus people who've seen it haven't really made that much of the score, so I don't even know if it's getting in at the Oscars at this point. Maybe that does make room for the Batman. That would be very cool. Best song, one of my least favorite categories to predict. Let's do it. I've Hold My Hand for Top Gun at number 1. I know we all declared Lift Me Up as the winner when Black Panther came out, but if no one cares about the film, let's give it to Lady Gaga. Why the hell not? I think Naatu Naatu is going to be here. if it's going to be anywhere, it's going to be here. We need to see that shit performed live because it rules. I've got the other spots sort of differ from what I think the Oscars are going to do. I've got Vegas from Elvis by Doja Cat. The Globes like big names, and if I know I'm like basing predictions on my other hypothetical predictions, but if they're going to like Elvis, they're going to like the song from Elvis. So sure. And then most people would have Nobody Like You here from Turning Red. I don't know why I don't give a shit about that song, but I just don't. So I've got Carolina from Where the Crawdads Sing because Taylor Swift is a name. And the song's actually kind of good. And the film was a big hit. So a lot of them probably have seen it, even if it hasn't been super heavily campaigned. And the song's a big part of the marketing for that film as well. I could be wrong, and Nobody Like You could get in. That's probably the safer pick here. Stand Up from Till. The Globes love their civil rights dramas, in song especially. Nothing is Lost from Avatar by The Weeknd. I've heard, most people are saying it's nothing to really write home about, so I'm not going to go in on that yet. Chapapa, I've seen the film. Yeah, the song is kind of underwhelming, and it's probably not going to get in anywhere. This is a Life from Everything Everywhere. That's wishful on my part, as is New Body Roomba from White Noise, which is the best original song in any film this year, by far. But no one gives a shit about it. And I don't understand, and I'm very upset. But the song rules. It's a banger. Applause from Tell It Like a Woman. The Oscars go for Diane Warren. The Globes don't as heavily, so it's not going to get in here. Finally, Best International Feature. A very tough one to predict because it is such a wide open race. And I think RRR can win it here, especially if I have it getting into a Best Picture category. It's not going to get in at the Oscars, so maybe it's like, let's reward let's be the cool ones. Decision to Leave, I think it's the Oscar frontrunner, so it's here. All Quiet on the Western Front, I still think is going to get in because a large number of people have seen it. Close is strong, even though it's a bad movie. And fifth spot is tough. Bardo is definitely an option. I thought it was awful, and I don't know, I don't see a large group of people enjoying that film, but again, I didn't think Drive My Car was going to be a contender, and it won. So I've gone with Argentina 1985 for my fifth spot because it's a film that has really strong reviews from everyone who's seen it. So if they get it out there, it could be something that the Globes go for, but I could be wrong and it could just be Bardo. I've also got Broker pretty high here because it's not eligible for the Oscars, so it could be a nice way to reward it. And people really like it, but it just hasn't popped up at all anywhere. Here you can throw a blanket. Saint Omer, France. People like France. EO is probably a bit too weird for them. Holy Spider, The Quiet Girl. I still kind of have hope it could get in at the Oscars, but no one's really seen it in America yet. And Corsage, lastly. So that's it. That's it for my Golden Globes predictions. Sorry for talking so fast. My camera keeps overheating and I want to get through this. But yeah, let me know what your predictions are down in the comments if you think I'm right or wrong. I've gone out on a limb with few of these, but I've gone pretty safe with like the top 3 and 4 in most categories. So I will be back tomorrow, hopefully with some reactions for the Globe nominations as they're read out, as award season finally gets kicked off officially. Thank you very much for watching. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Letterboxd, subscribe to the channel. There's going to be plenty more award season and other movie-related content to come. You have yourself a wonderful day.